drops and lariats from the top rope. You can't cope. The effing wrestling podcast in the house. Now that's dope. Starcade and SummerSlam all rolled into one. Drop kick, sleeper holes, 1, 2, 3, done. Whole mics like Mean Gene or Gordon Soley. I'm Ricky the Dragon Steamboat with that Crockett trophy. So listen closely as we approach the final hour in an instant. Hands raised, crowds phase without the time limit. Effing wrestling podcast with that ultimate finish. Suplex, now you're ending. Yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show. Let's go.
What up? What's up, Chase?
How goes it, JR? How goes it,
buddy?
man? I'm well. It was a very good Thursday at work. It was interesting.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's over, and I'm here to talk about some effing wrestling.
Baby. That's what's up.
Right, man.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. It's another Thursday edition here.
Yeah, man. We have a nice little Thursday tradition, and you guys tune in on Fridays, and you guys keep on listening. And you know what? Outside of your love of what we're doing, it's our love of professional wrestling that keeps us doing this. So thank you, and thank all of you.
Exactly, 100%. That's what it's all about, baby.
So
it's been a good week. It's a good week in wrestling so far.
I've actually been pretty busy this week, and as a bad fan, have not watched anything.
I hear you.
I'm completely off. I didn't see Raw. I didn't see NXT. I didn't see Dynamite. I watched highlights and matches from Clash of Champions on Sunday.
There you go.
But
let's talk about a little Clash of Champions then. You know?
Let's hit a little Clash of Champions.
My star of the show. Roman Reigns. Come on,
dude. The man. If that's the title you're going for in wrestling, Roman Reigns is the man. He's the tribal chief. He's the head of the table. Everything he was saying was great. You came to me on work and just talked about his promo he had on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that immediately, and it was outstanding.
Dude's killing it right now, man. This is I had a lot of respect for Roman Reigns. Like in the beginning, I wasn't much of a Roman fan.
No one was.
Him a little bit in the beginning. Then I started to gain respect for him just because I started to respect his work in the ring. He always went so hard in the ring.
Well, yeah, man, and like you said,
didn't have the greatest moveset or whatever, but he always worked hard.
You don't need the greatest moveset in wrestling. Look at Hulk Hogan. That guy has a terrible moveset, and he was the most overacted like the 80s. Definitely. One thing that always impressed me is like you have connections to the wrestling world, so you went to see a lot of shows, and you would take your kids, and you always said Roman Reigns was always out there ringside after shows, shaking hands, taking photos, just being, understanding that's the fans that make wrestling, and he's just there. That's endearing. He understands.
He gets it. All that shit he was saying to Jay. Look, that's what Jay was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about. But
sadly, he's the one who lost to Roman Reigns.
Yeah, right. All that stuff he was saying to him about the role of being the head of and the face of the company, he is true. After that's when I started to gain the respect for Roman Reigns, and then that was before his leukemia and everything.
Oh yeah.
Because I saw it. I saw that the lights are on at the house shows. He's still out there signing autographs, taking pictures, kissing
babies,
what's up,
all
man.
that
stuff.
I agree, dude. There's always that issue being the hand-picked one where people just want to reject that. They want to find their own. Yeah. But Roman Reigns, he has the build for it. He has the skills for it, in ring and on mic. Ever since how long have they been saying turn Roman Reigns heel? And you're finally seeing just what that is. And me and you both for years have been saying, like, no, they're not going to turn Roman heel. They're going to do the same thing they did with John Cena. He's going to be that old.
I've been saying they should. I've always thought he should be heel, man, just because he looks like a bad.
He looks it.
He looks like
dude. Ever since there, man, he lost the flat jacket, and it just
killing it.
It feels like that perfect 180 that you want from like from either a heel turn or a face turn of going, man, the character feels completely different while still being played by the same actor in a way.
Right.
And you're only gonna see it build and build and build, and I'll call it right now. Yeah. This is WrestleMania.
Let's call what we think is going to be the end, the payoff.
Oh, it's him versus The Rock. It is Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania.
You remember what I told you I thought was going to happen at Clash of Champions?
Yeah. Where Jimmy was going to come back, but he was going to
Jimmy was going to come back, but he was going to help Roman. I think they're all Roman's gonna get all of them together.
While I would really hope that this
Start
one
my
wrestler,
Samoan faction.
dude, I want this one wrestler to go to AEW. He's not signed with any of the major promotions. But what if Jacob Fatu showed up? I mean, he's someone I'm completely over with. I'm over with him, dude. He's so awesome. He's MLW. He's world champion.
But he don't fit in AEW, in my opinion. Bring him to WWE. Bring Samoan. Every Samoan wrestler should be in the WWE.
They always
New Japan or New Japan.
Oh, well, don't even be started on New Japan.
Don't go anywhere.
There's wrestling, which I love. It's theater, and then New Japan is like they call themselves King of Sports, and it almost is the amount of brutality that wrestlers take on in Japan is insane compared to what America. I mean, it's all dangerous,
right?
But holy shit, I think I watch wrestlers die when I watch New Japan sometimes.
It's good shit.
I mean, it's top notch, man.
Yeah. So back Clash of Champions. Though. What else? Yeah. What else?
We finally had. Didn't we finally have Bailey and Sasha? That kind of breakdown finally happen. That build.
Yeah, it's coming. That's coming for sure.
It's funny, man, because this builds to one thing we're going to talk about later on in the podcast. But they had that one great match at Takeover Brooklyn, the last woman standing match, where it was Sasha versus Bailey. It went the Iron Woman match, where it went 1 hour. Bailey ended up taking it. It was one of those classic matches, man. Anyone who's a fan of NXT or wrestling, I really tell them to go watch Sasha Banks and Bailey on WrestleMania Takeover Brooklyn. It's a fantastic show, fantastic match between two of the top female wrestlers in the world right now. But it tells just this amazing story of here's this bully heel versus this alien entity. Was such an overact. It was magical to watch.
Yeah.
And it feels like since they've moved up to the main roster, they have just tried and tried and tried to recapture what they had in NXT, and it's just failed over and over again. I love the heel turn that they've had for Bailey, and the two belts for both of them was awesome. But it feels like one of those storylines where we just know where it's building towards, and the fact they've taken so long to get there just feels like it's over milked itself just a little bit.
Right. I think it's about to be Sasha's time, yo. I think my girl, that's because I love me some Sasha Banks.
Dude, Sasha Banks is great.
I love me some Sasha Banks.
The best story with Sasha Banks is the fact that she can win the belt and can't defend the belt.
Yeah.
And that's like one of those amazing.
Keep it going. Yeah.
I mean, and it's one of those weird things of going, all right, man, you can win it, but you can't keep it for shit.
Right.
And I think that's amazing. And I don't know if they've ever really mentioned that very much in the storytelling.
They have. I mean, Bailey, I remember Bailey mentioning it, these back and forths they've had here recently.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, they're definitely touching on it. But the ladder match from Clash of Champions. Come on.
I mean, it's a ladder match. Those things are just great. Good. I mean, Sami Zayn, AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy, and those guys are all. Jeff Hardy is a psychopath who will throw himself off anything. AJ Styles is the greatest wrestler in the world.
And close to it.
Arguably, he's arguable in the. It's not even top 5; it's top 3, and he's not one of my favorites. But just for skill, what he can do. What AJ Styles can do in the ring puts him in the conversation of top 5 great of all time.
2-3 years ago, okay. Maybe not so right now for him. I'm
gonna say go back and watch his New Japan stuff.
I'm saying right now. We're saying right now though.
I still think his skill for his age and what he can draw, his skill is unmatched.
Right.
I think it's like him, Kenny Omega, Okada. Those 3 guys to me right now are just the best.
Right.
At just full on in ring. Like I'm not saying like mic skills. I'm not putting that into account because I don't think AJ is all that good on the mic. He can cut a promo. He's just not believable. He's not a good actor, is what I'm getting at. He's a fantastic wrestler, but no man. And then Sami Zayn, who just is a wonderful ginger Canadian hobo right now, and it's amazing. He looks like a hobo.
He does, but he's doing some of his best work. I've always been a fan of Sami.
Me too.
I lied. I take that back. I haven't been a fan of Sami Zayn until he's gone this full on heel. When he brought Shinsuke and Cesaro together. I wasn't a fan of him in the beginning. The him and Kevin Owens story that got to me. I like that a lot.
Dude, I was a fan. I like Sami Zayn.
As far as Sami,
NXT.
He's grown on me, and I like him a lot now.
I'm a fan of like the underdog story. I know when we talked about champions, he didn't quite make my list, but he had a very short run. But Sami Zayn took off with the belt right when I would say NXT was taken off as a product and being recognized, and because I mean they were Triple H had his finger on the pulse and he was getting a lot of indie guys, and Sami Zayn was a big draw as El Generico.
El Generico.
And so is Kevin Owens is Kevin Steen, and those two guys were like Wolverine and Sabretooth on the indie scene. So you just try and bring that forward and let them do it now, throw a title at NXT's belt on it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, dude, that ladder match was insane. I love the spot where AJ just it was AJ who just like flung the ladder at Sami Zayn, lawn darted it. And it was just so strange. And I didn't quite think that AJ was going to like toss the ladder and try and grab me, man. I thought that was a good one. What did they do? They handcuffed Jeff Hardy's ear to the ring.
That was smooth, man. I like how they pulled that off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of times when handcuffs come into it, it's like, what are you going to do? I mean, whatever. But the way he pulled it off was smooth. He had his ear handcuffed to the ladder. So he couldn't do anything.
Dude, I was really worried about, is that gonna tear?
That's crazy. But
remember when a couple years ago in Hell in a Cell was Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, and Randy Orton takes the screwdriver and puts it through his ear and twists, and that was one of the most insane spots we had watched.
That was effing insane.
Yeah, it was effing insane, man.
But dude, that was the way he handcuffed AJ was smooth also. Like they were fighting and everything, and then
and he was kind of
all of a sudden he had brought the key out of his mouth and handcuffed him and stuff. That shit was smooth. That was good. Clash of Champions was a pretty good show.
Dude, I mean, for sure that kind of went in with like. I think WWE's kind of been they do one too many pay-per-view events, so nothing really feels important a lot. Like the ambulance match with like Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre was cool. But I thought it was neat. They brought back all of the legends, but then I did see that one segment from Raw where they had the legends and Randy Orton has night vision glasses and he chair attacks everybody. I was like, oh, okay. This feels like an ongoing thing, but.
Right. It was, it was cool how it was like his son, the legends that he attacked got back at him. You know what I mean?
And I thought that was a really cool way to, especially now, I like Drew McIntyre and I really wanted to move on to a better opponent or a newer opponent just so we can get like this a certified win for Drew McIntyre as champion.
He's just been just sucks he got the championship with no fans. Like, not having fans in the stadiums is kind of hurting him, I think.
I think it's hurt a lot of people, man. But I agree with you. I think it's hurt Drew McIntyre the most because he is it's the world champion, man. He's supposed to hold some weight to it, and his entire reign has just almost been silent.
Yeah.
So it is weird. So there's no gauge to really tell if he's a successful champion or not, or a lame duck champion.
Right.
And that has to be such a weird place to fall. You know what I mean?
It's got to be. It sucks. It's
it's funny, man.
For all of that shit, like even in AEW, Jeff Hardy. That reveal came out, no fans.
Matt Hardy, when Matt showed up. Yeah.
The old Exalted One thing, all that stuff came out with no fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, and it sucks. I honestly thought they were going to hold FTR off until there were fans, just for that pop.
Another one, yeah.
But it's just like the way of the business, and it's changing so weird with the current pandemic and having just to keep things going, and you don't want it to cool off, but you're losing that live reaction that is part of wrestling. Yeah. So it's very strange.
Right. But I give them credit. I'm giving them credit, man. It's been beautiful. Like
they've all figured out ways around it.
At all is the wrestling parts of it stepped up. Honestly.
Yeah, dude. I feel like everybody kind of realized that they were one of the few things giving new entertainment in a time where there was none.
Yeah.
Like, all movies are no movies are really coming out right now. It's so few and sparse.
Sports are just coming back.
Yeah, so I think wrestling knew they were something that to be a sense of entertainment, a source of joy away from all of this. And they kept it going, and all the performers really stepped up. And, there's been scares and outbreaks to both AEW and WWE, but I think they've done their best to try to be safe around everything. Definitely. So, see what it goes.
Yeah. Well, you know, man, so let's get to it.
I was actually about to say that. It's something, man. If I can start. So, hey, this is part to the listeners. Yeah. This is part 2 of the episode where we started ranking our favorite holders of all the NXT titles. Yep. Last week was World and Tag. This week we're doing the North American and the women's title for NXT.
Yep. Finishing it up with the North American and the women's, baby.
That's right. And it's funny, man. You mentioned that how this pandemic's been good for some people and bad for others. And you know who someone it's done no favors for? My number 5 holder of the NXT North American title, Keith Lee.
Yeah.
I love Keith Lee. When he was on NXT as a huge threat and athletic, and I know we've mentioned him a time or two already on the channel, but he was a great holder of that belt. He's such an over face. He took it off Roderick Strong on an episode of NXT, which Roderick Strong's name might pop up again. Who knows?
Is it? Not on mine. Shit. He ain't on mine at all.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
But you know what? I have a good reason why. You know what? Roger Strong is on my list, and there's a great reason why, and you're going to love it.
We'll see.
You're going to bask in its glory. Just back to Keith Lee. Dude, I mean, take out the big issue with Keith Lee's reign is an issue I have with most of NXT and WWE right now. NXT a lot. It's affected them.
Yeah.
They're on television now. They're fighting for ratings, so they have to do a lot more title defenses. And so with a lot more title defenses, it happens on television. And when you had 4 like takeovers a year, and that's what you build to, and that's where the matches were, all these title defenses and changes meant something. But like Keith Lee, a lot of his matches just took place on the the weekly show. Yeah. Like I'm looking at this, like his second defense was against Dominant Dijakovic, and that was at TakeOver Portland. But most of the time when you look at his reign, it was on the TV shows or in smaller ones. And he had to vacate it.
Yeah, they've had to, yeah. The vacation, the reason, so spoiler, I mean, he's my number 5 also. So,
all right, yeah.
Yeah, spoiler.
We both see where this is at.
5 because of the way, I mean, he had to vacate it. He didn't have to, but I get it. I understand.
Well, it sucks, man. We've talked about this, man. Look at our boy.
Naito, baby.
Does he have to vacate his belt? No, he's world and intercontinental IWGP world champions.
They just do it right.
So for Keith Lee to go, you know what? One of you guys fight for this because I'm world champion. And then what happens? He immediately loses it. Only to be a main roster call because, dude, I swear, the only reason they put that belt on Keith Lee was so when he moved up to the main roster, they can say, and former NXT champion.
Yeah.
And I on a business idea, I get that. I do. And it's a cool accolade to his name. It's like me and you talk about a lot of, hey, all the time, Keith Lee is a NXT world champion.
Yeah.
No matter where he goes.
No matter where he goes, no matter what. He's always going to be on that list.
And that's cool for him, man. But it's always better when there's a point to it.
Yeah.
Man, he did some cool winner take all. His match against Adam Cole at that was the Great American Bash episode, right? They called it that.
Was it? Yeah. I think you're right.
I think that was. Right. Yeah. I have that right here in my notes. And that's cool because Adam Cole's great.
And Adam Cole he can get anybody over. He's so good at getting.
I mean that big head alien headed monster. Don't ever cut your hair, Adam Cole. You are amazing.
Right.
You are. You
didn't watch NXT, or did you see? He had a great match with Austin Theory last night.
Really?
Great match.
Oh, that sounds great. Of course he did.
Yeah. I mean,
Adam Cole is so cool.
Austin Theory
got his name over.
Exactly. Baby. But yeah, so my number 5 also. So that's So I don't no need to say anything else, which, if you don't mind, let me go with my number 4. Because it's going to surprise the hell out of you, I think. And it's Damian Priest.
Oh my God, it is. I was about to say it's Damian Priest, isn't it?
Man, I'm loving what he's doing, man. Like until you mentioned that Adam Cole match, I didn't remember it. I'd forgotten about it.
Oh yeah.
Damian Priest already has 2 or 3 matches that have been great. And last night he had an intergender match with Io Shirai.
Oh, that's
great.
cool.
And it was great.
Oh, I saw images from that because it's like Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, and they're wearing the belts.
That was a great match, yo, and it was great. And the way when he won the ladder match to win the title, that was great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And and in my opinion, he had a great match with Cameron Grimes.
Your boy, Cameron Grimes.
I love me some Cameron Grimes,
dude. I can't wait for him to hold this belt.
Man, it's gonna look good on him.
Like, I don't think Cameron Grimes is quite world champion material, and I don't mean that as an insult. That's just kind of like the rankings of wrestler. Could he get there with the proper booking and proper storytelling? Yes,
of course.
But he's gonna look great with that secondary title around his waist.
Beautiful.
I mean, it's gonna look good when that belt's Cameron Grimes.
Yeah. So that's the only reason. And I mean. And plus, I probably just like Damian Priest a little bit more than I like Keith Lee, which is weird because Keith Lee is awesome, but they're messing him up, man. I'm not liking what they're doing with him, and I like what they're doing with Damian Priest. So
I like, you know what? I'll agree with you, man. He's not on my list, and that's just as
no, that's cool.
I sat around going,
the title
who is Damian Priest for a while? You know what I mean? I couldn't quite get who his character was. He seemed like he was almost Aleister Black, kind of like a darkish character. Mm-hmm. But then you kind of just catch interviews with him. It's like, no, you're not quite like a dark character. No. So I had a hard time like getting.
He's just a cool ass rock star. He just seemed like a cool ass rock star. He just want to party.
Oh, when he won the belt, he's just chilling out in the hot tub with the women and the champagne. It's like, oh, okay, now I know who your character is. I'm seeing you're not this like Aleister Black, Undertaker, dark side of darkness and shit like that.
No.
You're a rock star. You're like Tommy Lee or Bret Michaels. You're like this 80s rocker. I kind of see it. You know, I like that. I'm gonna go with number 4 as Velveteen Dream.
Number 4?
Number 4.
Wow.
I like Velveteen. I do, man.
Explain. I mean, go ahead.
He took the belt off Johnny Gargano.
Okay.
You know, off that, that's cool. The man's trunks have been mentioned oh so many times because he goes back to that Rip Rude style. He airbrushes his opponent's face. It just works, man. I dig it. He had a really good match. He defended against Matt Riddle and beat Matt Riddle, which was cool. Had a match against Buddy Murphy as well, which was awesome. At TakeOver 45, he took on Tyler Breeze for it. I like Tyler Breeze. I think he's a wrestler who, you know, he just won his first belt with being the current NXT Tag Team Champion. He's been with the company for years.
Yeah.
And I like Tyler Breeze.
He's cool, for him.
I like
from house shows, man. From house shows, he gave my kids a Fashion Police ticket.
Oh yeah,
they gave him a ticket. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. So yeah, no, I like Tyler Breeze.
But then, man, I like Velveteen Dream as a character. I liked the story they had going with him for a while. Looking forward to seeing what happens with him. Not to go into anything that's happening in the storyline or world right now, but I'm surprised he hasn't done a run with the world title yet.
I think it's just because all the shit he's been into, man. He doesn't, you know what I mean? He'll build it, he'll get there, and then he'll do something stupid or allegedly do something or whatever. I don't know.
You don't need to know that.
Whatever.
For a lot of things, he just didn't have any matches. It was like this weird transitional point. Who he lost the belt to, I really like, and it's more or less the reason. I think I like him holding the belt more than I like him as a wrestler when we get to that.
Okay.
Because that's the next person. Number 3 is the next one. So.
All right. So my number 3. Or wait. Yeah.
Yeah. Keith Lee, Damian Priest. This is your number 3.
So my number 3 is Adam Cole, baby. And he's my number 3.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I have two. There's been 2 reigns better than his as a North American champion, for sure.
Okay.
Okay. For sure. Anyway, but yeah, just Adam Cole, just because he was the inaugural. He was the first.
Mm-hmm.
And just Adam Cole, baby. He's the man. And
respect that match, undisputed era, all the way.
Undisputed era, all the way. And he had that match with shit. I'm drawing a blank. I apologize. Anyway, but just Adam Cole. Adam Cole's my number 3.
Adam Cole, baby.
Just whatever.
Which match? I mean, dude. There were so many. That ladder match where they debuted the title when it was against that. That was.
Yeah.
I will say Adam Cole's on my list. I won't say where he falls.
No, 6-man match, right? It was a 6-man match. It was like like Killian Dane.
It's like EC3 was in it, Killian Dane was in it, Lars Sullivan was in it, Ricochet was in it, and Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, okay.
Velveteen Dream. So it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six-man ladder match at Takeover New Orleans, which was a great show.
There you go.
All the way around, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember like I had no idea who was gonna win that match.
It was a good match, man.
And I love that belt. That was a pretty belt.
It is a pretty belt. But he only had it. Look, I'm looking here. Yeah, he had it for 133
days. It's a short run. I mean, I think everyone who's held it. Velveteen Dream took the longest run with 231 days.
That's why Velveteen's my number, whatever. But that's why Adam Cole's my number 3. He's like he had it for the fourth longest, but his reign was more memorable than Keith Lee's. That's why I had him also above Keith Lee's.
Absolutely.
So that's my number 3.
My number 3 is Roderick Strong.
Okay. I get it.
I like Roger Strong. I'm not the biggest fan. I liked his heel turn when he turned on Pete Dunne and the Undisputed Era, and they won the Dusty Rhodes champion. He's been a really good fourth member for it.
Mm-hmm.
He won the belt off Velveteen Dream. But what I really liked is, me and you talked about this. If you're gonna form a faction, at some point that faction has to hold all of the gold.
Yeah.
So you had Adam Cole as world champion. You had Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly as tag team champions. And then you had Roger Strong win the North American. So I got to watch the Undisputed Era walk out every Wednesday. Just draped in gold. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, that's what I want to see, man. Roger Strong put on good matches. Like he defended against Austin Theory. He defended against Dominic Kojovic. Sorry, that was a hard name to pronounce.
That's a tough one.
There's not really a real reason I like it outside. I'm not really a big fan of Roger Strong. I wouldn't miss him if he wasn't there or not.
Right.
But I sit there. He earns that number 3 spot because I really loved it when the Undisputed Era got to walk out and they just had all the belts.
Okay.
And I mean, yeah, you build to that point, they're going to lose it. But I was like, nah, I'm happy here.
Right. I get it, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I don't have him on my list or whatever, but
that's what we need.
I understand. That's why,
we need these different ideas. That's what makes us entertaining.
There you
go.
Hopefully. My number 2. We'll go Ricochet.
What? Spoiler alert, Ricochet's my number 2.
There you go. So I'm sure I don't have, notes and, a lot of that, but I'm sure you'll give us a lot of it. But
I have a little bit of a rundown. Thank you very much.
I just remember, when he came in, he was supposed to be the shit, and
he was matched up. Yeah, dude, I watched a lot of Lucha Underground, and he was Prince Puma, and he was like the first world champion for Lucha Underground. So I was over for him when he already got in there.
Champion. I knew he was there. I didn't know he was the first champion, though. Yeah.
And it was cool because Conan was his manager. I really am upset I can't, as I used to watch Lucha Underground on Netflix, and now it's not there anymore. And now I'm like, I just really wish I could find it on like DVD or Blu-ray or something.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if that exists, comment or something.
Right.
That'd be really cool. Thanks.
I know.
But no, I mean, so Ricochet beat Adam Cole.
Yeah.
He beat the inaugural champion from the second ever, and it just made sense.
Yeah.
Like Ricochet.
They had a good little rivalry.
They did.
That was a good
one.
one.
Man, that one, I forget what it was. I forget what takeover it was. It might
3, 4.
It might have been Brooklyn 4 where he won it, or it might have been the one prior to that. But they hit that beautiful super kick where Ricochet is doing the moonsault on the second belt, and Adam Cole super kicks him right in the throat.
Perfect.
And it's just one of those like Jack Burton said, this is gonna take Cracker Jack timing, Wayne.
Right.
And that moment just was magical.
I think it was at 3 because remember they tried it again in 4.
Oh yeah, and it just didn't.
Or there might have been a pay-per-view in between or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember him trying it again in the second when
I don't quite recall that.
Yeah.
But they had a really cool no contest with Pete Dunne. It was like a champion versus champion. It was like North America versus the UK champion, where Pete Dunne was that, and I think Undisputed Era ran in and stopped that one, as that was just on the show. Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne. He defeated both of them in a triple threat match on television. Finally dropping it to Johnny Gargano.
Johnny
Wrestling.
That was the face of NXT at the time, right? Mr. Johnny Wrestling, right?
Yeah, and I like Johnny. Well, we've covered Johnny Gargano. I mean, DIY, some of the greatest matches. He put on the first 5-star match in 7 years against Andrade Cien Almas at blanking on the takeover because there's been a lot of them.
It happened.
You know, it's a lot. There's a lot of information in wrestling. There's years to keep up with. It's difficult.
Yeah, and there's so much stuff in that head of yours on wrestling that you're good.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
But no, dude. Ricochet is just such a cool character. I hate what he's doing on the main roster. He's been ruined since day one.
Can't stand it. I mean,
did you? I know you're a big Will Ospreay fan. Have you seen their match at Clash of the Junior Champion or Clash of the?
Yes.
It's some indie show where it's just all the flippy stuff that kind of drove Jim Cornette up the wall and gave him a coronary. But I watched that going, look at these superheroes do flips.
Incredible.
I mean, I don't know how you cannot watch that and not think it's wrestling. It's so. Is it storytelling in that traditional sense? No, it is not. But the athleticism put on display is insanity.
Incredible.
And and he pulls it off. Yeah. I mean, constantly. I've never seen him botching. I'm sure he has. I mean, that's just what happens.
You don't see it happen often.
Yeah. No. So number one, who you got for number one as North American champion?
The Velveteen Dream.
I respect that. I mean, hey, he was my number 4.
He's the best North American champ. I mean, he had it for 231 days.
Yeah. Massive defense. All the title defenses. Wow. He's such a great character. The way he just gets close to the top, rides out to the ring on the couch. It just all works.
Yeah. That was his best. Some of his best promo stuff.
Absolutely.
When he had the belt for sure.
And I'm a fan of the color purple, and anyone who can make that color work, just like going, hey, cool, dude, you rock purple. Yeah. He rocks crushed velvet purple pants in the wrestling ring. Like going, hey man, that can't be comfortable or easy. So respect.
He pulls it off. But he's the, you know what I mean? He's ravishing Rick Rude, and
he wears his homages on the sleeve. It's like, it's all good, man. He's one of those. I love Velvet. He rocks the 2 moves. His signature of that elbow drop is one of the prettiest elbow drops in wrestling. Beautiful. And then he hits a Death Valley driver better than anybody.
He nails that shit, don't he?
I mean, he hits one as good as when Perry Saturn first started rocking in WCW and made me really impressed. But what makes the Velveteen Dream is he continues to pop and lands on his feet with it. And that's just impressive.
Right. It's good, man.
So while I agree with that, I have to go with, for my number 1 pick, Adam Cole, baby, leader of the Undisputed Era. I mean, he was the first ever champion in one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in NXT in their new era at TakeOver New Orleans in that 6-man ladder match for the belt. I mean, that went every which way. You had no idea who was going to take the belt. Every person in it had every right to hold it. But Adam Cole came out victorious as that perfect heel. I remember him hopping up on the ladder, climbing up and snatching and just sitting there on top all pretty, just holding it going, ah!
Big-headed ass.
But, gray alien head.
That's cool, man. I like that. That's not.
You know what the sad day is? If Adam Cole ever cuts his hair.
No, he won't.
Dude, you think he's going face? That's something I read about. Is like they might be pushing him a face after this.
He won't be the same. He won't.
How could he be?
I don't know, man. I mean, he could pull it off just because he's incredible, but
he's talent. But
you know what I mean? Nah, dog. Like, nah, homie.
I think that's a waste of his talent.
Yeah,
making him a face.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam Cole is a heel through and through in the best sense.
Definitely.
You wouldn't see MJF become a face.
No. Hell no. He would be hilarious though, but no.
No. You know what? Adam Cole as a face, get the F out of my wrestling.
Yeah. Right out there.
Yeah, right out there. There's a door.
There it is.
So
all right, not bad. So move on to the women's.
Move on to the women. All right, let's do a recap. Let's do a recap real fast. Who are your 5?
My 5, number 1, Velveteen. 2, Ricochet. 3, Adam Cole. 4, Damian Priest. 5, Keith Lee.
All right. My 5 for North American NXT North American champion were the first champion, Adam Cole, Bebe. Mm-hmm. The second champion, oddly enough, Ricochet. Just Prince Puma, the most athletic bastard in all of wrestling. He's incredible. Number 3, Roderick Strong, another member of the Undisputed Era. Number 4, your number 1, the Velveteen Dream. Nice. And number 5, Keith Lee.
All right.
I respect all these lists.
Definitely.
All right, JR. So talking about, so now we're moving on to the women of NXT.
Right. Starting number 5.
All right, who do you got?
I wonder how what's gonna piss you off. I'll go with Bailey. I got Bailey as my number 5.
Respect that. No, dude, this is a weird list.
It is. It
breaks out in weird spots for me, man.
A lot of it. I didn't see a lot of them when they were champions. Like my bottom 3. I mean, I didn't see a lot of Bailey when Bailey had the championship in NXT. I started watching NXT. I remember Sasha having it, and no. Who had it after Sasha?
Bailey. Sasha. I got it right here in my notes. Oh, I was actually wrong.
No.
Bailey beat it off. Took it off Sasha at Brooklyn, and then she also defeated her as the champ at Respect, which was the 30-minute Iron Woman match.
Yeah, which is a great match. But anyway, but Bailey, you know what I mean? She had it for over 200 days, 223 days.
She's the defining champion for that belt, in my opinion.
Yeah. She was
no one's held it since or prior, and there's been some great champions to hold that belt. But when I think of
Wait a minute, nobody hold it since or prior. What were you about to say?
When I think of when NXT Women's Champion, I think of Bailey.
Really?
Yeah. Same way. And she's not my number 1, but it's just the same way when I think of Marvel Comics, I think of Spider-Man. Yeah. It's just kind of like how I correlate them. I'm just going, oh, hey, she was champion when I started watching it. She was that ultimate face in NXT. It just made sense of when I think of Bailey, or think of the NXT Women's Champion, like Bailey's usually the first mind. She's not my number 1 or number 2 by any means, but I was a huge, huge fan. Again, I just correlate her and the belt.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. I guess. Well, damn. Now you got me thinking who. I think when I think of the NXT Women's title, I think of my number 1. I don't know, either my number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's kind of weird. This breaks down to sometimes I just like somebody, even if they didn't have a good reign. I like watching them. I'm going, I like you. I like you with the belt. Like my number 5 pick
on that list.
Dude,
he's only had it for a month and a half. So, but I like him. But Bailey, I like Bailey. You know, I'll give her she's my number 5.
For number 5, the same reason I just gave, with not a great run with the belt, but I just happen to like Rhea Ripley a lot.
Okay.
I can't help it, man. I got a crush on punk rock chicks. It's just my thing. And she's just uber badass. She rocks spikes, cat's eyes, is fierce.
Yeah.
Strength. She's a brawler, man. I really like that aspect. Normally with women wrestlers, you see more submission oriented stuff, and Rhea Ripley comes in and has power moves. I remember when she led the women's I want to call it Fall Brawl, but it's War Games match against Shayna Baszler and her team, and you just got that great bit where she handcuffed.
That was her coming out party, right?
Yeah, dude. I don't think she was champion just yet, but that was like her big, hey, I'm a threat. I'm coming for your belt. Because she took the belt off Shayna Baszler, but it wasn't on TV. It was on one of the on a TV episodes. We're in that era of ratings, which is strange. And she she defended against Toni Storm at Worlds Collide, which is cool. Had a cool match against Bianca Belair at Portland, which I remember. And what keeps her at 5 is she got moved up to the main roster. And so she didn't get moved up to the main roster.
She just had that match with Charlotte.
She had that match with Charlotte at WrestleMania 35, and they've just buried her since.
Yeah.
Like, I even forgot that she wasn't even moved up because they just aren't doing anything with Rhea Ripley right now, which sucks.
They're trying to now, though.
I think now the belt's off of Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte Flair is off of NXT now.
Yeah.
Is she, or she moved around? Where did Charlotte end up? I can't remember where she's at right now.
She never went back to NXT. She just won the belt from Rhea.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah, she didn't go back. She just won the belt because she won she won the Royal Rumble or something, and the King of the Ring, or not King of the Ring, Money in the Bank maybe or something, and she could challenge anybody, and she challenged Rhea.
Okay. Before that, I'm just like the short reign that it only lasted like 99 days. So she was one short from 100 for her. Yes, she takes my 5th spot for those. I like the character. Minuscule run, but I just like seeing her with the belt. She wore it well. Like when she would walk out with her like metal studded vest with the spikes and holding.
I like the way she comes out and does the I like her style.
She brought some glimmer to the belt.
Yeah.
So for that, she makes my list.
Word up. Number 4 again. I didn't see her at all with the belt, but just looking at the numbers and probably because I like her. Paige, she's my number 4.
She was the first.
She was the first one. You know what I mean? So I'll give her that respect, and I'll put her my number 4. Unfortunate we don't get to see her wrestle anymore because Paige started this, like she was one like wrestling.
She comes from a lineage of a whole British family of wrestlers as well. She was the first NXT Women's Champion. She beat Emma in like a tournament for it. She had to do the vacancy because I think JBL was the general manager for NXT at the time. I think she either made her or she had to vacate the belt because she was moving up. Because she had beaten AJ Lee. Yeah, she had beaten AJ Lee. I can't remember if it was on a show or a pay-per-view event for the Divas title, because it was still the Divas title at the time. That shameful butterfly belt. So yeah, dude, absolutely, man. So I mean, Paige, and she made a huge stir. I mean, Paige's first appearance was winning the Divas title. So yeah, dude, I totally agree with her for a 4th spot. She's great for it.
Yeah, Paige, my number 4.
My number 4 is Ember Moon. I liked Ember Moon a lot. She's gotten stunted by just injuries.
That her finisher, is one.
The Eclipse where she jumps around and grabs you in a stunner and just kind of brings you down. It's nuts.
One of the best finisher, male or female, that I've seen in a while.
So she won the belt in a fatal 4-way competition at Takeover War Games against Kari Sane, Nikki Cross, and Peyton Royce. And this was after Asuka moved up to the main roster and had to vacate the belt.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
It is.
It's really unfortunate because you don't want to see someone like, oh, hey, I'm moving up. I don't need to lose this thing. I've outgrown this. And that kind of sucks.
But nobody could fuck with Asuka, She wasn't. She's the best.
Nobody was ready for Asuka
at all. But
no one ever is. I mean, take out, man, for as many issues as the main roster has had with Asuka, she's really flourished across NXT and WWE. Definitely. But don't worry, we'll get to Asuka.
Oh yes, we will. We definitely will. For sure.
But yeah, Ember Moon, dude, I loved her entrance music. I loved her look. She had the Eclipse. She put on some okay matches. I mean, she ended up losing to Shayna Baszler, and we'll get to Shayna, I'm sure. But no, dude, just for the aesthetic, for the look, for the character she popped out, like you always can get a vibe for someone who just really loves what they're doing, and you got that off Ember. Every time she would throw her like hood off on her head at the top of the ramp or
there are different eyes and
when she would rock the contacts, man. I was just always about Ember. So when she finally won it, I was happy for her, man. You always get excited for that. She's I don't know if I want to read. I think she got a career-ending injury or is like healing from one or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just a wait and see situation, man.
Yeah,
so that's my number 4.
All right, just for time purposes, I'll kind of we'll kind of go.
Start speed rushing, cutting it.
Yeah. So I'll go with just because she had it twice, I'll go with Charlotte, number 3.
Player's daughter.
Didn't see Charlotte much with it until the second time around, of course.
Yeah.
The first time I didn't see any of those matches, or I went back and saw a couple of the matches with it, but I didn't really see any of her reign. But just because she held it twice now, I'll give her number 3.
Yeah. I'm going to give number 3 to the current holder of it, Io Shirai, who beat Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley in an awesome way of like, I think Rhea was pinning her or like had her in submission, and then she came down and got the pin. Io Shirai, I didn't care about her as a face. And the moment she went heel and went psycho and just like that new interview from Poppy, and she'll just go freak out.
Yep.
I'm all about it. I haven't caught a lot of matches with her. I know she defeated Tegan Nox. She defeated Who'd she take over 30? Dakota Kai. Yeah. Dakota Kai's gonna make one hell of a champion one day.
She's gonna be champ.
It's gonna be great. Her whole heel work now, not to 180 off of Io Shirai, but Dakota Kai, once she gets the belt, she turned heel and it was amazing.
She looked good last night on NXT. She had a great match on NXT last night with
did she?
Shotzi Blackheart. Great match.
Shotzi Blackheart, man. I'm looking forward to that.
You like her.
Oh,
all right. So yeah,
punk rock, man. I can't help it. I can't help myself, JR. Yeah,
not wrong.
All right, so that's my number 3. Who you got for number 2?
Shayna.
Oh, okay. Okay,
I'm number 2.
I'm excited about this.
Number 2 also, right?
Huh? No, Asuka's my number 2 to Shayna Baszler's number 1, man.
Wow. Okay, so first Asuka's my number 1.
See, I like this. Now we can just open up and have full-on discussion about it because it's like tit for tat.
Yeah. So Asuka, I mean, she's had it for over 500 fucking days.
Dude, she's the longest running. No one is ready for Asuka. I absolutely agree with you on that.
It. You know what I mean? She vacated it. She never lost it.
The air that Asuka brings to a ring is outstanding.
So it's sexy.
It's scary in a sexy way, man. You're just lost in it. You're just sitting there like
mask, and then she'll bite the fucking bite the top.
Have you seen any of her stuff as Kana in not New Japan, but I think Star Wrestling in Japan, where she just looks like a character from Evil Dead. It's like all this caked on white makeup with like bloodshot eyes and dripping blood. I really wish she would bring something like that to now. She's doing something like that with the green makeup, which is cool.
Yeah. And she's doing the green mist and stuff now. But I love Asuka. But Shayna, you know what I mean? Asuka had the longest run, but I think Shayna had the most dominant.
Shayna Baszler came in. So I'm a huge fan of Shayna Baszler.
I am too.
Huge fan. She came in the same time Ronda Rousey did. And these are two women who they're known as the 4 horsemen of
badasses.
Yeah, they're MMA fighters. They're UFC fighters. I mean, these women are scary badasses.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came in at wrestling at the same time. And while all the news went to Ronda Rousey,
deservingly so, though. Deservingly
so, absolutely. But no one paid attention to Shayna Baszler, who was 100% a better wrestler all the way around.
It was good for her though, because she could grow under the radar a little bit.
True.
You know, more without all the things.
I feel like Shayna Baszler came in a little green on mic skills, but all in all, her ring speed was great. Her move capacity, her chain wrestling was good, and she could put a promo 100 times better than Ronda Rousey ever could.
Mm-hmm.
No, Ronda Rousey had to play face. Shayna Baszler got to walk in immediately and go, "I'm the bully of NXT." When she won the title and she walked into the locker room and just put everyone on notice.
Yeah,
it was scary stuff.
It was great.
Man.
Yeah, no, it was great for sure.
I know, dude. I think it is it's a hard discussion, man. Like I said earlier, Bayley is who I think of when I think of that belt. But when it comes to the best reigns, it's Shayna Baszler versus Asuka, and I'm glad it's 1-2.
It's splitting hairs, you know.
I'm really glad it came down to you have one for 1 and one the other for 2, and and it's vice versa, because I think that just speaks to how narrow of a margin you're speaking of when you're discussing these two in their title reigns.
Definitely. And you know what I mean? Asuka had the belt for about 100 more days, it looks like, than Shayna altogether. But that's, you know what I mean? That's nothing.
If anything, if I can split that hair,
easily be because Shayna had the belt twice.
I can split the hair one more reason if I can get there. And this is splitting the hairs, man.
Okay.
Splitting hairs, correct?
Okay.
Shayna lost the belt. Asuka vacated it. And that vacation, the vacation of it is just a little bit.
But she vacated it, moved up, and kept her streak going until Charlotte fucking Flair broke it.
Charlotte did not need that, man. Asuka should still be undefeated.
She should be. She should be, but they had I get it, I guess.
I get it. What I mean? But hey, man.
But she never lost it. She vacated it and dominated until she lost it to Charlotte.
And you know what? She has one more credit to her name than Charlotte does. I mean, Charlotte, I don't think it's won Money in the Bank.
I don't think so either. No, I don't think so either.
No.
She won Royal Rumble.
She just won the Royal Rumble. I think Asuka was the first winner of the female Royal Rumble.
Chose to wrestle
Rhea
for her belt. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
that's awesome. That's what's up.
I think, and there's so many great. I mean, Sasha Banks has a wonderful reign with it. Kairi Sane has a great run with the women's belt.
Yeah.
There's so many.
I mean, that's it though. That's it.
Actually, yeah. Looking at the notes, that's everybody.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking when we were talking about doing these lists. You know what I mean? I was thinking like, damn, we might need to do one show with all of them together because
there's not a lot of titles.
But you were right.
We can ramble.
We can do it. Look, we've gone what? Almost an hour. We've gone almost an hour already.
We've gone 8 hours at the station just going, hey, you know what's cool? Hey, you know what'd be cool?
Nope.
We could fill hours of this.
Definitely.
This is not a problem.
Definitely. So
you know what? You know what? Let's do recap. What's your my recap? My recap as it stands was Rhea Ripley, followed by Io Shirai. Then we hit Ember Moon.
Mm-hmm.
From Ember Moon, we go to Asuka.
Mm-hmm.
And then Asuka, we hit up Shayna Baszler.
Okay.
And that is my 5.
My 5 from 5 to 1 was Bayley, Paige, Sasha, Charlotte, Shayna, Asuka.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that Sasha didn't make your list.
Look, I don't know.
Just for credit's sake.
I don't know if you can see it. Sasha / Bayley. But I went with Bayley.
I respect that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I said she was the face of the belt, and I didn't even put her on my list, so I'm just a bad fan. So what am I going to do?
Exactly.
But you know what, Jared?
Big number 10 coming up next.
Number 10. And you know, we're going to have some – we're not going to tease anything, but we don't know yet. But you know what? It's going to be special. It's going to be so special that you're going to have to tune in. Isn't that right?
For sure.
So you better effing tune in.
Effing tune in to effing wrestling. I can't even say it all. Never mind. Forget it.
Same effing time, same effing channel.
Definitely.
On that note, JR.
Tomorrow? No, I'm off. Hey, no, you won't. I'm off tomorrow, baby.
You enjoy it. Day off.
I have to travel for my son's baseball tournament.
Well, you know what? From the theater world, great legs in the baseball tournament.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's a pleasure tonight.
Hey, you know what, JR? This is always the highlight of my week. I love talking effing wrestling with you.
Elbow drop, lariats from the top rope. You can't cope. The effing wrestling podcast in the house. Now that's dope. Starcade and SummerSlam all rolled into one. Drop kick, sleeper hose, 1, 2, 3, done. Whole mics like Mean Gene or Gordon Soley. I'm Ricky the Dragon Steamboat with that Crockett trophy. So listen closely as we approach the final hour in an instant. Hands raised, crowds phase without the time limit. Effing wrestling podcast with that ultimate